Hey everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada, and you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. I may have had a technical issue with YouTube tonight, and so I'm going to check once I finish this live. I'm live definitely on Facebook, but I will check afterwards to see if I actually went live on YouTube, and if I didn't, I will download this video and post it up to YouTube. I'm not sure what happened. I got an error message and there didn't seem to be a way to back out. Anyway, tonight I am here with a technique that I haven't played with for a while. I call it paper towel stamping. I think you can call it making your own multicolored ink pad. It's probably lots of names that you can use, but I think it's the perfect technique for stamping leaves. Leaves, particularly at this time of year, are multicolored as they start to turn from green to brown. They kind of go in between yellow and reds and all sorts of beautiful colors. And so I'm going to create my own stamp pad and stamp leaves so that hopefully, fingers crossed, I get some multicolored leaves. And I'm using one of the new suites that was released today. It's an online exclusive called Gathering Moments. At least I think that that's what the whole suite is called. Gathering Together, Gathering Moments, something like that. If you haven't seen, so the catalog came out today, the September to December mini catalog, plus a whole bunch of new products that are only available online. So I have a PDF that you can look at, but you can go to my online store and look up online exclusives and you will see all of these new products that came out today. Plus there were 2 brand new kits released today. It was a very big day for Stampin' Up! With all sorts of things released. The new catalog, the online exclusives, the new kit. Yeah, it's a fun day. I love this time of year. All right, I'm going to switch over and we'll go through the suite and then I will get started making this card. So this is the Gathering Moments bundle. So lovely sentiments. I love this font. Smaller leaves. They're actually at 85%, so they're bigger than what they appear on here. But 3 different leaves, an acorn, a little mushroom, some little plaid that you can stamp, kind of background things, and then you've got the dies to cut out those images, as well as these 2 really big dies here that cut out big leaves, and they're textured. They've got little holes in them. Fun to do. Perfect time of year for this kind of. And then, of course, look at this gorgeous designer series paper. Colors, Cajun Craze, crushed curry, early espresso. It's specialty paper. I don't know if you can see the gold glitter or shimmer to it from the foil. So that's beautiful, that one with the leaves. I'm using this, oh no, I'm not using this one tonight. I thought I'd pick this one, but anyway, so a nice plaid. Early espresso with what looks like bubbles. Basic beige, just a very subtle pattern. Kind of a wood-grained early espresso. This is the one I'm using. Cajun Craze with little leaves. Oops, okay, I think I've got everything here. Oh, did I? Showed you that one, showed you that one, showed you that one. Okay, I think I've showed you everything from one side. Let's flip them over. So again, another basic beige. This one is basic beige with gold. You can see the shiny gold. Another plaid with the yellow and gold. Another really pretty Cajun Craze and basic beige and early espresso. Old olive stripes with gold. And then this one with the green. All sorts of colors in this one. So pretty. I love these. Okay, the other couple of other things come with this suite. So this is the Gathering Leaves embossing folder. It's really big. You get a lovely texture. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see it real well, but I have embossed this piece of designer series paper. Hey Catherine, welcome. Good, somebody can see me. What else is in this suite? Oh, these. I haven't opened these yet. These are called Cajun Craze and Gold Dots. So 3 sizes of dots with just a little bit of gold in them. And then the last thing that comes, this is Early Espresso and Old Olive linen thread. So 2 different rolls of the 2 different colors. Okay, let's get started. So I've pulled out a, what have I pulled out? I've pulled out a stamp case, and I've got a piece of paper towel. This is one of those half sheets of paper towel. And I'm gonna just fold it in 2 because I don't think you need the full piece. In fact, when I've tried this technique in the past, the more layers you have, the more the ink soaks in, so you don't really want to do that. Now I'm going to take a spray bottle. You can use a spritzer, but I've got a spray bottle, a very dirty spray bottle. That's what happens when you do mixed media and your fingers are all gucky from the paint. I should clean this up one day. Anyway, so I'm going to spritz it. Now you don't want it to be sopping wet, but you want it damp to the touch. So I think that's probably there. Just want it all over. There we go. Okay, so it's not running wet. I'm just using this stamp case just to protect, although I've seemed to have gotten water all over the place. Now I've pulled out 3 re-inkers. I've got Cajun Craze, Timid Tiger, and Crushed Curry. I'm going to start with my lightest, and I'm just going to drop drops of the Crushed Curry. You can see it's damp, so it's kind of spreading out. We'll go back in and maybe fill in some of the spaces. Just trying to see. There we go. Okay. All right. And now I'm going to take my Timid Tiger. Ooh. I'm just kind of filling in some of these openings. Now, I'm going to put some Cajun Craze in, so it's probably going to look a lot like Timid Tiger, but just be darker. All right. So it's always fun to see what this is going to turn out like. So I've got quite the Timid Tiger is quite bright. So I've pulled out some of the stamps. I'm going to use these 2 plus, so 3 different stamps. Now I'm going to play with this just a little bit. I'm going to stamp on my grid paper just to see what it looks like. So just like a stamp pad, pick up the ink. You might have to press a little harder, and then we're just going to test. Okay. All right, I'm going to put a little bit more Cajun or Crushed Curry because I seem to have lost my yellow. So I'm going to go over to the side and add in some Crushed Curry over here where it's not quite so dark. And we'll try that again. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'm getting a little bit more of the yellow, which is kind of what I want. Okay, I think I'm good. So you do have to play a little bit. Now I've decided to stamp on designer series paper today. I could have pulled out basic beige. I didn't want to do white, but this is a really subtle piece of designer series paper with the basic beige and white, and I thought it might look kind of pretty with that white. So I'm just going to do some stamping. So I've got my first leaf. I'm not sure how many of these I'm going to use, but I'm going to stamp a few out. That one's a little darker. And I'm kind of rolling this. You might not be able to see this. So I'm just trying to keep some of the dark sections on the edges, just so that's a little more, the colors are a little bit different on the edges. It's kind of like rolling. We used to do rolling more than we do now. All right. Now, okay, that's probably all I'm going to do. I'm just going to close my lid for the moment. But I'm going to let those dry. And while we're letting those, they dry pretty quickly, I'm bringing the rest of my supplies. So I've got a piece of Cajun Craze, and it's 5.5 by 8.5. So we'll score it at 4 1/4. And with your bone folder, fold into the mountain or the raised line. And then I cut a piece of this pretty Cajun Craze cardstock with the leaves. So that is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I cut another piece of that same one that I stamped on. And this one, I should cut this smaller. So this is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I cut it a little smaller so you can see around the outside. So I have a little bit of that leaf border. And I have embossed it using that gathering leaves embossing folder. But I thought I would add a little bit of color to this. So I've got Timid Tiger. So we're just going to pick up, and I've got a blending brush. Tap off. I want this to be quite light, so I'm going to kind of smooth off and get rid of the kind of the ink that sits on the kind of top of the blending brush. And I'm going to come in from the sides so that I don't get a kind of a real blob. What's the word? Blob. Blob of color. Gently, I'm just adding just a little bit of color to my designer series paper. Tap off, and then again come in from the outside. Just makes these leaves on the embossed leaves pop a little bit. So now you can see those leaves a little bit more. So we'll just take and adhere this. It's a shame to cover up that. Oops. Too much glue. I thought it was clogged, so I pressed really hard. And I'm going to use some of the early espresso linen thread. I love the fact that we have colored linen thread now. I haven't used this, of course I won't find the end. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Gosh. Technology is not my friend tonight. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this around. More on this, keeping it on the right-hand side, because that's where I'm going to tie my bow. And I'm just going to wrap it around, say 3 times. Just pulling it tight, but not tight enough to tear, because if you get it too tight, sometimes you can tear the side or cut the side of the especially designer series paper, because it is quite thin. Let's see if I can tie this. There we go. I've got it quite loose, so I'm going to just take it. You can, let's get this. Okay, I've got it quite loose, so I'm going to just take it and pull it tight around. And now I'm going to use, I've got some of my, somewhere I have Okay, well, I can't see my Stampin' Seal, so I'm going to use tear and tape. So just take it and pull it so that it's tight, and any of the looseness is on the back, and you won't see it. And so the front of the card has tightened up. So that can now adhere. There we go. Okay, so I want to take and cut these leaves out. So I think I'm only going to use 3 of them. So I'll save the other ones for another day. I'm going to use that one because it's got some yellow on it, a little lighter than the other ones. So we'll just take and that one. These extra ones I will just take and put into my stamp case and save them for the next time I want to use these, have these colors of leaves. All right, now got my little Stampin' Cut and Emboss, because this is, I think this will fit. Yes, it will. So we'll just take and run this through. There we go. Push that. This one and my other one didn't cut all the way through because it was too close to the edge of the paper, so I'm just going to have to take my paper snips and just trim around this one. So we'll just do a little bit of fussy cut repair. I got it too close to the end, and so it didn't have a chance to cut. There we go. Okay, so now I think I'm going to stamp my sentiment in the multicolor. So let's bring that back in, and I'm going to use the sentiment that says "Many thanks," and I'm okay if this one's a little bit darker. So let's just see what this one looks like. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna stamp this on. I've got a piece of basic beige. I think it was, there we go. 1 inch by 2.5. Now, I've got it kind of rough. I'm not sure you can see that, but this one edge is rough, so I'm going to kind of rough it up a little bit. So just taking the edge of my scissors and running them along the cardstock just to kind of make it look a little distressed, since I had a bit of a distressed edge going on. Go with it. And then I've got another piece. This is a piece of Cajun Craze that weighs 1 1/4 by 2 3/4. So we'll use dimensionals. I think this is my first fall card that I've actually made. Oh no, that's not true. I made some using, there's another beautiful suite in the catalog called Amber Tulle. I think that's how you say it. That is absolutely stunning, and I have made some cards with that one. Okay, so this is gonna go this is what I'm thinking. Something like that. So we're gonna use dimensionals on this again. Will definitely be popped up. Put that on like that. The bow can go over top, and then I'm just going to take some glue dots and just adhere a couple of glue dots to the back of, oopsie, glue dots stuck to my nail. So let's just see how far I can tuck that in like that. Under like that. So that's the front of the card. I've got a piece of basic beige that is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then I cut a piece of the Cajun Craze designer series paper that I used as my first layer. So that's 3/4 of an inch by 4. That can go on the inside of the card like that. And then the last thing is we'll put some of these Cajun Craze and gold, what are they called? Cajun Craze and gold dots. There we go. I think that's a really pretty fall card. Kind of has a yellow, even though I used the Cajun Craze, but it almost seems a bit yellow. I like the way it turned out with those leaves. So that's an old technique I haven't played with for a while. Lots of things you can do with this to create that multicolored ink pad. All right. So on, let's see, where are we? Today is Wednesday, so I won't be live on Thursday or Friday or Saturday. So if you live in Canada and you don't have a regular demonstrator that you deal with, but you can be one of my team members or one of my customers, or maybe you don't have a demonstrator, we're having our virtual launch in our Facebook group. And so if you're interested in joining on that, I did send information out in my newsletter, and I will send another one out probably tomorrow reminding people. And as well, there is an event on my Facebook page. So if you do live in Canada, you're a customer, you don't have a regular demonstrator, you're not a demonstrator other than my team member, you're welcome to join us. On Saturday, we're live from about 10 after 7 in the morning through till about 4:45 or 4:45 in the evening, with all sorts of product showcases, some stamping. We walk through the catalog. Of course, we have prizes. We have a couple of challenges. So come join us for part of the day or all of the day, as much as you can spend with us. We'd love to have you. Also, I have got a product share, which I still have one share left. If you're interested in that product share, reach out to me. And you can also register for the Creativity Abound Stamp Camp at the end of October. Now that the catalog has gone live, you can order the Modern Christmas Suite, and if you want to, you can add on the iridescent foil gems to that. Those are optional, but we are using them in the make and takes. We're just not including them in a make and take package. So if you're interested in that, there is information in my newsletter as well as on my Facebook page and group. All right, everybody, thanks so much for joining me, and we will see you on Saturday if you join the launch, and on Sunday I will be live at 12 noon. Happy stamping.